A man who walks alone isn't necessarily broken or bitter. Sometimes it's the man without a girlfriend who becomes the most deeply self-sufficient. He wakes up each morning not relying on romantic affection to validate his existence. He doesn't wait for a good morning text to start his day. He rises with purpose, fueled by internal drive rather than external attention. He has learned how to navigate through life's complications without leaning on someone to rescue him emotionally. This man has built his own stability. He handles his responsibilities with precision, not because someone is watching, but because excellence has become his lifestyle. In a world where so many people chase constant companionship out of fear of being alone, this man stands out. Not because he's unavailable, but because he's grounded. He's not lonely, he's aligned. He doesn't crumble when people leave because he never built his peace on anyone else's presence to begin with. This kind of man isn't lazy with his time. His schedule is structured, his goals are clear, and his energy is sacred. When a man doesn't have a girlfriend, he's often more laser focused. Distractions are minimal. He isn't getting pulled into drama, guessing games, or emotional entanglements. He's sharpening his craft, working on his vision, and elevating his standards. He spends hours in the gym not to post thirst traps, but because he honors the body God gave him. He builds his business not to impress a partner, but because he knows he was created for more. He reads not to look smart on dates, but because he values growth for its own sake. While others may see his singleness as a void, he sees it as an advantage. He's not consumed by chasing relationships. He's consumed by becoming someone worth knowing. When life hits hard, this man doesn't implode. He doesn't spiral into emotional chaos. He's had to learn how to regulate his emotions without someone else soothing him. He doesn't send impulsive texts or wallow in neediness. He sits with his pain, faces his fear, and processes his thoughts in silence. That doesn't mean he's cold or numb. It means he's mastered his emotions rather than being mastered by them. He's calm under pressure, steady under stress, and composed in crisis. He's emotionally literate, not emotionally loud. While some men lose themselves in romantic chaos, he finds strength in solitude. His peace is not performative, it's real. His emotions are not outsourced, they're owned. That kind of control isn't accidental, it's intentional. And it speaks louder than any social media love story ever could. A man like this doesn't overcomplicate his life with unnecessary appearances. He's simple but not small. He's intentional but not boring. His wardrobe isn't dictated by trends. It's curated by confidence. He doesn't need to buy luxury to feel valuable. He doesn't chase clout to prove his worth. He finds joy in stillness, clarity in simplicity, and value in things most overlooked. That kind of peace can only come when you've spent enough time with yourself to know that validation from others is too expensive a price to pay for your authenticity. This man is not looking to be consumed by trends. He's looking to be anchored in truth. He doesn't follow the crowd, he leads himself. He's also not easy to access, not because he's arrogant, but because he's selective. He understands that connection is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to his mind, his time, or his presence. So when he engages with someone, it's never out of desperation, it's out of discernment. He's not swayed by surface level attraction, he's looking for substance. He's not lured by charm, he's watching for character. And if someone doesn't meet his standards, he doesn't bend them just to avoid being alone. He's mastered the art of walking away when peace is at stake. He'd rather wait years for someone real than entertain temporary people who only bring chaos in disguise. That's the strength of a man who knows who he is. He's not afraid of losing people when he refuses to lose himself. In his alone time, he doesn't waste his days scrolling or numbing out with distractions. He goes inward. He reflects. He heals. He examines his past, confronts his habits, and uproots his insecurities. He doesn't wait for a partner to call out his flaws. He corrects them himself. He invests in therapy, mentorship, and spiritual growth because he knows inner work creates outer excellence. He studies himself like a book, and he prays like someone who understands that solitude is sacred ground. Many overlook the power of a man alone, but that's when God does his deepest work. In the quiet, this man hears instructions others miss. In the silence, he receives clarity others can't find. Because he's not afraid of stillness, he becomes the man who can lead with strength and love from a full cup. People often confuse quiet with weak, but a man who has mastered his solitude is anything but weak. He has found a secret weapon in silence. He's not anxious for attention. He doesn't fear the nights alone. In fact, those nights are when he sharpens his faith, builds his vision, and rests in the presence of the divine. He doesn't need someone next to him to feel whole. He's already complete. And that's what makes him powerful. Because when the right person does come, he's not bringing need, he's bringing abundance. He's not hoping to be saved. He's ready to serve, protect, and build something lasting. He's done the work most people avoid. He's faced the fears most men bury. And now he walks in peace that can't be shaken by temporary storms. And here's the thing, he's not looking for a girlfriend to complete him. He's preparing for a woman who complements him. He's not available to anyone with a pretty smile and an empty soul. He's building for legacy, not just chemistry. He wants alignment, not just attention. And until she shows up, he's not wasting his energy trying to make the wrong one fit. He's not scrolling through options. He's focused on obedience. He's not chasing moments. He's preparing for the mission. Because when you've spent time becoming whole, you don't settle for someone who breaks you. You don't confuse excitement for connection. You don't compromise your calling just to say you have someone. You've seen too much. You've healed too much. You've grown too much. So if you see a man like this, don't mistake his singleness for sadness. Don't assume his silence is suffering. He's not stuck. He's strategic. He's not unloved. He's untouched. Because he's being hidden for a reason. And when he's revealed, it won't be to just anyone. It will be to the woman who was worth the wait, the one who values his depth, honors his journey, and meets him with the same emotional maturity he cultivated in the quiet. And together, they won't just date, they'll build. They won't just post pictures. They'll fulfill purpose because he didn't waste his waiting season. He worked. He healed. He prayed. He prepared. And to every man who feels unseen in this season, remember this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. This solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. And when you show up, you won't come empty-handed. You'll come whole. You'll come ready, and the world will not be ready for the man you become in the dark, but heaven will smile because you didn't fold. You didn't fake it. You didn't settle. You stood. You built. And now you walk with strength that can't be shaken by storms, loneliness, or delay, because you became the man you were born to be before she ever showed up. And that makes all the difference. A man without a girlfriend is often the man whose focus is untouchable. His energy is not scattered chasing flings, validation, or constant companionship. His energy is invested. When he wakes up in the morning, his mind isn't spinning about who replied or who didn't. He's not caught in an emotional whirlwind of decoding texts or questioning loyalty. He's locked in on his goals like a hawk. That kind of discipline isn't accidental. It's cultivated in silence. It's forged in the fire of long nights where no one claps for you, no one encourages you, and no one checks in. It's in those moments where a man finds his edge. He sets his priorities. He builds a routine. He rises early not to impress anyone, but because he respects himself. His ambition isn't a show. It's his standard. He's learned to master his mornings, guard his afternoons, and use his nights for planning instead of partying. He doesn't wait for a new month or a new year. He creates new momentum in the now. This man understands the price of greatness. He knows success doesn't come from being everywhere with everyone. It comes from being consistent in the same lane long enough to break through. His days are organized. His tasks have timelines. His habits are intentional, and his boundaries are firm. If something doesn't align with his vision, he doesn't entertain it. That includes people, distractions, and even emotions that try to drain his drive. You won't find him wasting time arguing online, scrolling endlessly, or chasing temporary highs. He's learned to say no to the world so he can say yes to his calling. And that kind of focus, pure, disciplined, spiritual focus, is rare in a man who isn't afraid to be alone. His goals aren't just career-based either. He's chasing personal mastery. He wants to be mentally sharp, emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, and physically capable. He trains his body because discipline in the body trains discipline in the mind. He reads because he knows wisdom isn't just for the old, it's for the hungry. He studies patterns of success. He breaks generational cycles. He learns financial literacy. He journals. He prays. He studies scripture. He knows that a man who lacks focus becomes a slave to distractions, and he refuses to live like that. He doesn't compete with others. He competes with yesterday's version of himself. His growth is personal, his pace is sacred, and his race is his own. People may assume he's cold, standoffish, or emotionally distant, but the truth is he's just dialed in. He's guarding his time because he's guarding his destiny. He knows that where attention goes, energy flows, and he refuses to waste energy on people who only show up to slow him down. He's not trying to prove he's worthy. He's proving to himself that he can live with integrity when no one's watching. Now, that's the difference between a man who's simply busy and a man who's focused. One is moving out of habit. The other is moving with heaven's backing. When distractions knock, he doesn't answer. When temptation rises, he stands firm. When delays happen, he adjusts without quitting. And when loneliness whispers, he reminds himself of the reason he started. This man isn't motivated by feelings. He's anchored in purpose. He doesn't chase comfort. He chases alignment. He doesn't panic in the process. He trusts it. And even though he's single, he's not sidelined. He's not waiting to be chosen. He's choosing to become. There's power in that. There's glory in that. There's legacy in that. Because disciplined focus doesn't just build success, it builds identity. It's in the process of showing up daily, doing hard things, and refusing to quit that a man discovers who he truly is. Not the mask, not the image, not the version the world told him to be, but the real, raw, resilient version that was buried under noise. That version of him doesn't need to prove anything. He just works. He just builds. He just becomes. And one day, when the right woman sees him, she won't just see a man with muscles or money. She'll see a man with depth. A man with discipline. A man who didn't use singleness as an excuse to drift, but as an opportunity to develop. She'll see a man who can lead, love, protect, and provide, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Because a man with discipline focus is not just rare, he's dangerous to mediocrity. He's the kind of man who changes his family line. He doesn't come to play small. He comes to break chains. He comes to build empires. And that's what makes his focus sacred.